So I'm going to paint this beautiful cactus flower. I'm going to start by mixing up some of these beautiful light greens, and I want to have my greens edging towards blue rather than green. So I'm taking some white and I'm going to take some of this cerulean blue hue, and I'm just mixing up a lovely gentle green that can be one of the highlights in my painting. I'm pressing down on my palette and really getting the paint to be absorbed by the bristles. And I'm going to start about here, and I'm just loosely going to make some vertical strokes and let the paint sit beautifully on the paper. I can really feel that I've started too high on the page. If this happens to you, all you do is take a lot of water and very quickly wet it all down and dab it with a toilet roll. I could have edited this out and started again, but this is real life. This is what happens when you paint. You start too high, or you do something and then you realize, oh, that was a mistake. So as you can see, you can completely erase so long as you're quick. So let me start that again. I want to have my flower here, the body of the plant here, and then the pink flowers will be there and there. So I need to start about there, and then I will do something at the bottom, some kind of jar inspired by some of these images. Okay, so round about here, I'm going to make my first mark. That's it, that's better. The yellow in this cotton range is very strong, so when I'm adding yellow, I'm consciously adding just a small amount. As you can see, I'm putting my marks down and then I'm just leaving them alone. I'm not fiddling with them, because I want the pigment to pool very beautifully on the page. And the more I fiddle with it with my brush, the less that will happen. So I'm going to come in here, and then this side, and have a thin line there, a thinnish line here, like that. Great, so far so good. I want a little bit more in here, there. Now I'm going to let that dry just a little, and while it dries I'm going to do these white bits there. Now white on a white page is tricky, so I'm going to cheat and use a very dilute blue-grey, and I'm just going to lightly put in some suggestions of whatever those white things are. Just like that. It doesn't need much, just a little. Perfect. And now watch what's happening here. I'm going to mix up some of my darker greens. So I've got a few already on my palette from my warm-up, and I'm going to come in with some long smooth strokes, picking up the really dark bits that are in there. So like this. And I'm letting my brush be one movement on my page and coming down. Beautiful. It's quite transparent still. I'd like a little bit more pigment in there. So I'm going to take a bit of yellow, a bit of green, a bit of blue. Mix it all up. Take a deep breath. Don't forget to take deep breaths while you're painting. It's very easy to hold your breath, and that's not what you want. You want to be relaxed. So a deep breath in and exhale, and be conscious of also relaxing your shoulders right from your neck down, because that helps with more relaxed marks on the page. So I'm just coming in with my dark pigment and something like that. I'm letting it touch the light green in some places, and in other places I'm purposefully leaving a white space where the white of the page is showing. With watercolor, using the white of the page is really important because that's what gives your watercolor its vibrancy and energy. Just going to drop a bit more pigment in there, a little bit in here, a little bit around there. And just adjust my green to add in a few different bluey tones, make it a bit more interesting. Lovely. At this stage, less is more, so I don't want to overdo it. I just want to get some nice washes going, and then I want to wait and see what happens on the paper. Okay, that's looking very nice. I'm going to start working on the pink flowers, and for this I'm actually going to swap over to another palette where I've got more space, and I'm taking some of the pink and I need to get my brush nice and wet with that. Add a bit more pigment. Might just do it like this. Perhaps if I move these out the way, do it like that. You don't need 2 palettes. 1 palette will be fine. I'm just saving time by using 2 palettes. Now for the flowers, I'm just going to drop in some beautiful pink lines, starting from the bottom and working up. And I'm varying how much pressure I put through my brush. Some strokes are thin, some are thicker. And this pink is beautiful. I love it. Like that, beautiful. And then for this flower on the side, I'm just gonna do the same thing. You might notice that I'm using my brush at quite an angle. I'm not holding it upright. I'm allowing the length of the bristles to be touching the paper. Just get a bit more. And I'm trying to create a variation of intensity of pigment as I put this down. And I want to leave some white. Perfect. I'm going to let that dry a little bit, and while it's drying I'm coming back to my green cactus and I'm just going to have a little look at how it's doing. I would like the light bits, the light green, to be a little stronger, so I'm going to come back to that and just mix up a little more of a beautiful green. So I'm just going to come in with this slightly more intense color in some places. I don't want to overdo it. Just want to drop it in a bit. Like that. Lovely. Okay, there we go. I'm going to stop because I definitely don't want to do too much. And I think what this now needs is for some of the darks to be darkened a little bit. So I'm going to go back to my darks. I'm going to mix up something quite intense, like that. And I'm just going to drop in and try and get a broader range of contrast into my picture. You can see some delicious things starting to happen where I've dropped in more intense pigment. Over here. That was maybe too much, that brush stroke. I felt it as I did it. Never mind, it's done. Just drop in some bits and pieces. If you make a mistake like I just did, you can do what is called lifting. So you clean your brush and then you dry it, and then you just make a stroke where you want to take out some of the pigment. And as you can see, it's lifted out some of that excess. So I'm going to just do another one over here. Okay. And now I'm going to go back to the pink flowers and I'm going to drop in some darker color to add contrast. So I want to mix up some purpley red. That's nice. I want it to be a little bit more, I want the same thing but a little bit more maroon. So I'm using my red and my ultramarine blue. There we go. There's a little bit too much water in this pile, so I'm going to come to a new pile and do it again with less water this time. That's better. A bit more red. Beautiful. Now I can feel that it's more of the consistency that I need. And before this dries completely, I'm just dropping in some of these darks to add interest. Like that. This is already almost dry at the bottom, so we need to be quite quick. I want to join it on so it looks like they belong together. Beautiful. Isn't that lovely? The way it just flows and does its own thing on the page. It's so therapeutic. I'm just cleaning off my brush and I'm going back to the first bluey purple I made, and I think, I don't know if I want that one. I think I might want more of a red. Let me mix up a pink and a bit of red. Yes. And I'm just trying to get some variation of colour into my painting because it adds interest. Lovely. I'm not trying to slavishly reproduce the inspiration. I'm trying to create an essence of it, a sort of some kind of representation of it. I'm going to just dilute what I've got on my brush a bit and do one more thing over here. Like that. Now to bring this together with this, I'm going to actually drop in some of these colours into the bottom in a very subtle way, like that. It just makes things hang together a little bit more. Okay. And for the blues, I'm just going to emphasize them a little bit more. Lovely. And there we go. I think that's enough for now. So pause the video now and go ahead and paint your cactus. Don't get too worried about it. Just get stuck in and enjoy the process.